Chapter 326, A 60% Certainty. You get angry when I mention your old lover? Fang Hao sneered, understanding well the reason behind his ex-wife's annoyance. Once evidence confirming that the old man had pushed someone down the stairs was found, he would not only ruin his reputation but also end up in jail. His ex-wife would be left shedding tears behind cold iron bars during prison visits. His ex-wife still harbored the fantasy of marrying the old man, appearing openly in society as his lawful wife. Suro, you think the old man is perfect, but unfortunately, nobody is. While the old man may be impeccable in business, networking, and social relations, he is not without flaws when it comes to his playboy tendencies with women. If Suro insisted on marrying the old man, what about Chengyu, Zhou Jiejia, and the others? Whether in front of or behind Suro, these women wouldn't want to miss the opportunity. Given the old man's age, unable to satisfy these women, what would he rely on to suppress their desires when they erupted? Physically, the old man might have his ways, but what about the psychological desires of women? Fang Hao speculated that if Chengyu was indeed pushed down by the old man, that night might have involved an ultimatum from Chengyu. Perhaps she demanded the old man marry her or threatened to expose their relationship, embarrassing the Cheng and Li families. If she got arrested, her position at the provincial high court would also be jeopardized. With Chengyu losing her career and exposing her relationship with the old man, her only way forward would be to force the old man to marry her, giving her a status to rise again in Jiangdong City. Otherwise, she would have no place to stand. If the old man had another daughter with Suro and married Chengyu, where would Suro and her daughter end up? Therefore, the old man probably rejected Chengyu, leading to a disagreement. Chengyu might have threatened the old man, knowing some of his secrets from their long time together. For example, revealing Suro and Zhou Yun as the old man's women to Su Buiyuan and Zhou Fun. To avoid a scandal, the old man had no choice but to resort to murder. No matter how rational and intelligent the old man was, once entangled in emotional disputes, he would likely make mistakes because women are the most uncontrollable and irrational beings. Of course, to the old man, women were just playthings, not to be taken seriously. If he decided to be ruthless, killing them wouldn't be excessive. Suro, you are just a plaything. How pitiful. Fang Hao believed that his speculation from his ex-wife's reaction was likely accurate, with minimal deviation. After smoking a cigarette, Fang Hao attempted to overturn his previous deduction but still felt it was somehow connected to the old man. Next, awakening Chengyu and having her reveal the truth would determine if it was related to the old man. The next day, Fang Hao went to buy breakfast below the residential area and saw Li Jun yawning as he got out of his car. He approached and offered him a cigarette, saying, "I was just looking for you. Yesterday, I went to see your cousin. I didn't expect her condition to be so serious. You kept it from me. Aren't you afraid of hiding it from a doctor and delaying treatment?" Li Jun chuckled and said, "I'm just following orders. Can my cousin wake up?" Waking up a vegetable is a world medical challenge because the understanding of the human brain's function is not deep enough. There have been cases of vegetative people waking up, but many did so on their own, and as doctors, we are often helpless and can only wait. Fang Hao took a few puffs of his cigarette and continued, "I want to try with your cousin. I should have about a 60% certainty." 60%? That means there's hope for her to wake up. "Dr. Fang, you must wake up my cousin. I'm confused, and I want to know what happened that night." "What do you suspect?" "I suspect my cousin was pushed down the stairs by someone, and that place might not be the original scene. Because that place is only 3 floors high, to be precise, only 2 floors plus the height of the windowsill, not exceeding 8 meters, and there's grass below. I've dealt with falling cases before, and none were as severe as my cousin's fall." "Your suspicion makes sense. Investigate it, preferably find the original scene, and I'll try to wake her up." "Oh, can you show me the investigation file from that night?" "I'll apply to retrieve it." "Retrieve it sooner, then back it up. Don't let anyone destroy the original. Otherwise, we'll have nothing." Fang Hao felt that the situation might not be that complicated, but he also didn't want to miss the opportunity to bring down the old man. After getting to work, Fang Hao went to Cheng Lao's ward. Seeing Cheng Lao's hopeful eyes, he said, "You can care without pretending to be indifferent. By doing so, you lose your true feelings. It's about maintaining a tough exterior while showing compassion. Even the law is not separate from human emotions, let alone family ties." Cheng Lao was momentarily stunned and then asked directly, "Can you heal her?" "Yes, I have a 60% certainty. However, I'll need her transferred to the Provincial People's Hospital, and I'll be in charge of the treatment." During my treatment, you shouldn't interfere too much. No problem. You'll have full authority in medical matters. Also, arrange for security and protection. I'm afraid someone doesn't want Cheng Yu to wake up. Okay. We'll handle the security. Then go ahead and arrange for the transfer. Fang Hao discussed the personnel arrangements with Cheng Lao, and then he went to check on the pregnant woman. He found that the lesion from breast cancer had decreased to a size suitable for minimally invasive surgery. He consulted with the patient and her family about the surgery timing, providing 3 options for them to choose from. Instead of an immediate decision, the family asked for time to consider, indicating they wanted to consult other experts. Thinking about transferring to another hospital? Fang Hao didn't expose their thoughts, respecting their right to make an independent choice. Shortly after, Huang Yidao approached again. After closing the door, he said, I heard you're going to try and treat a vegetative patient. Do you have expertise in that area? I'm attempting to awaken her, but whether it will be effective is another matter. The patient hasn't been transferred yet. How did you find out? Director Chen told me. I came to ask whether you initiated the treatment or if it was requested by the other party. Does it make a difference? It does. If you initiated it, my 2.0 version will have a big story. You'll become globally renowned. If it was requested by the other party, it might be a trap. Take it slow. Once the director's selection process is over, and you become the director, you can treat anyone you want. Huang Yidao took out a newspaper with a headline stating that a rising star had emerged at the Provincial People's Hospital. Fang Hao's photo as a doctor was on the front page, accompanied by a lengthy introduction to his successful treatment of patients, using real names like Zhang Jun and Jiang Qiuxing. This was the surprise Huang Yidao mentioned, but Fang Hao didn't feel much joy. Huang Yidao was trying to promote Fang Hao as the hospital director, but Fang Hao knew he didn't stand a chance according to the regulations. You can consider it as being requested by the other party, Fang Hao said. You're incredible. Huang Yidao was dumbfounded for a while. It seemed difficult for him to accept that Fang Hao could awaken a vegetative person. Fang Hao's medical skills were truly astonishing to him. Hailing from the imperial capital, the renowned Huang Yidao had expected to dominate his peers in Jiangdong City. However, he never anticipated that there was a true dragon hidden here. It was truly a blow to his confidence. Chapter 327, Fate Shouldn't Be Severed. Cheng Yu was smoothly transferred to a special ward with a female police officer guarding outside and 24-hour surveillance. Fang Hao conducted a full-body CT scan, discovering ongoing bleeding in her body, especially in the cranial region. The surgery at the Maternal and Child Health Hospital didn't completely stop the bleeding, and a considerable amount of blood had accumulated. Cheng Yu's vital signs were continuously decreasing. In this state, if it continued for another half a day, she would die. Sighing, Fang Hao quickly performed a bloodletting procedure to restore Cheng Yu's vital signs to normal. He then began systematically testing Cheng Yu's neurological responses. After work, Fang Hao returned to his office and found the leader's family member waiting. Do you want to transfer to another hospital? He asked. The family member was slightly surprised. Dr. Fang, how did you know? Fang Hao didn't explain and handed over the transfer procedures to the family member. Feeling somewhat embarrassed, the family member asked, will my daughter-in-law be okay? It's a minimally invasive surgery, very straightforward. Fang Hao's phone rang. It was from the hospital office. Hearing Yang Wenjin's voice on the other end, he directly hung up. The phone rang again, this time from Director Chen, instructing him to come to the office after finishing his current tasks. Wonder what he wants? Collaborating with Yang Wenjin to make things difficult for me? Fang Hao had suspicions but decided to finish his work first. After Fang Hao finished examining Cheng Lao, he informed her, there's a 70% chance. An increase of 10%? Yes. The human brain is a miraculous structure, fragile yet powerful. It automatically protects itself. Don't worry, give her, and me, some time. Alright, we'll follow Dr. Fang's instructions in everything. Cheng Lao was very pleased and looked forward to the outcome. Leaving the ward, Fang Hao headed towards the main building's office. Professor Chen, what can I do for you? Fang Hao knew this vice dean liked being addressed as Professor. Even though it was an academic title, it gave the impression of an authoritative expert. However, Fang Hao knew this vice dean didn't have much substance. Little Fang, how's Cheng Lao doing? Sure enough, Vice Dean Chen was pleased, and his tone softened. Much better than before. With a few more treatment sessions, she'll be able to stand up. If you need anything, just let me know. I have 2 applications here. Dr. Ding Mingkuan, the new head of the outpatient department, and Dr. Luo, the head of gynecology, want to join Chang Lao's treatment team. What do you think? You want to get involved in Chang Lao's treatment? It requires Chang Lao's consent. Go talk to Chang Lao about it. Fang Hao inwardly sneered. The results of Chang Lao's treatment were evident. From the initial inability to move her legs to being able to lift one now, it was clear that recovery was only a matter of time. Everyone wanted a piece of the success. You're all uglier than the other, yet you dream big. Ding Chen said, aren't you in charge of medical matters? Bringing in an assistant shouldn't require Chang Lao's approval, right? In that case, I refuse. Ding Chen, are you considering replacing me directly? The friendly expression on Ding Chen's face disappeared instantly. He gave Fang Hao a cold glance and quickly put on a smile again, saying, you're one of the outstanding young doctors in our hospital. How could we replace you? Don't overthink it, focus on your work and make sure Chang Lao recovers. You probably don't think that way in your heart, right? Fang Hao pretended not to notice the change in Ding Chen's expression and said, I still need the hospital's cooperation and Ding Chen's wise guidance. You little sly fox. Ding Chen asked, Cheng Yu, this special patient, has also been transferred. How is her condition? At the maternal and child health hospital, they didn't handle Cheng Yu's brain bleeding well. They left me a hidden danger. Fortunately, I discovered it in time, cleared the intracranial bleeding, and she won't face an immediate life-threatening situation. I've started the treatment, but we still need to observe further. Ding Chen, this week and the next, experts will be coming over. How about letting them take charge of Cheng Yu's treatment? Cheng Yu should still be under your care. After all, you are the most skilled doctor in our hospital. You have the talent for it. As for the job adjustment, it's an interim plan by Dean Zhou's team. For now, I am in charge, and I have already rejected some of Dean Zhou's proposals. The hospital positions shouldn't be moved temporarily. The old stubbornness was indeed formidable. Fang Hao had a clever idea and said, what about Director Yang Wenjin? She strongly advocated rehiring and bringing her back. She? Ding Chen raised his eyebrows, asking, why mention her? Fang Hao directly stated, it's well known that for the past 4 years, due to my relationship with Zhou Fen, Yang Wenjin hasn't liked me. So, for 4 years, she hasn't granted me prescription rights, and I could only do odd jobs. Therefore, to ensure I can better treat Cheng Yu, it's better for Yang Wenjin to step down completely. She's getting on in years. After dedicating herself to the Provincial People's Hospital, it's only right for her to go home, enjoy her retirement, and save her family happiness. He envisioned a scene where Yang Wenjin came before Zhang Lingtian, letting him manipulate her. Perhaps with no chelating force from her old teeth, they would be like a fish's mouth, opening and closing, truly enjoying marital bliss. I also think old Yang is of an age where she should retire. She has been dutiful to the hospital's cause, and now she should rest at home. Ding Chen, aware that Fang Hao was using him to get rid of Yang Wenjin, felt uncomfortable. But with Fang Hao bringing up Cheng Yu, what could he do? He could only record this as a small debt in his little account book and settle scores with Fang Hao later. Old Yang? Yang Wenjin is younger than you, probably by 10 years. You should be the one retiring. Fang Hao didn't waste time and left. Just as he got into the car, he received a call from Li Xiaoxi. She started complaining immediately, Fang Hao, you lied to me. Yesterday, you said you couldn't treat Cheng Yu, but now you've transferred her to your hospital. You even claim to have a 60% chance of waking her up. You're not leaving a way out for me. Oh, and you didn't mention that you knew her. In reality, you not only know her, but your relationship is also very abnormal. You really messed me up this time. This complainer. We only have a transactional relationship. Do you think we have a secret friendship? Ridiculous. Fang Hao was somewhat surprised. He heard airport announcements in the background from Li Xiaoxi's side, realizing she was at Jiangdong City Airport. He asked, Dr. Li, where are you flying off to? I've been arranged for business training outside. I might not be able to come back before the new year or even after. It's all because of you. Haha, going out for training is gold plating. After you come back, you'll be promoted. You're blaming me for nothing. What promotion? After training, I'll be assigned to a county below as a hospital director with a department-level title. I missed the deputy division-level selection this time. I'm already this age, what else can I achieve? Fang Hao realized there was a problem. He asked, whom did you offend? I didn't offend anyone. It's because of you-know-who, our big boss. She's dissatisfied with you but can't intervene in the provincial people's hospital matters, so she shifted the blame to me. Oh, who is this big boss? Ardeen, Zhangxian. Zhangxian? The name sounded familiar. In the next moment, Fang Hao took a sharp breath. Zhangxian, wasn't she the chief surgeon who performed the craniotomy for Chang Yu at the maternal and child health hospital? A surgeon surnamed Zhang did the operation, and then Chang Yu's intracranial bleeding point wasn't completely sealed. Was this a coincidence? Chapter 328, Zhofen's Doubts. After picking up his child and returning home, Fang Hao received a message from Li Jun that the requested files had been delivered. Li Jun personally brought them over, and when he saw Fang Hao's son playing by the door, he was slightly surprised. He commented, "Dr. Fang, your son has good arm strength. In the future, he could be a national-level athlete." Oh, his mom wants him to join the military. He's just a wild child from the countryside. Fang Hao eagerly opened the file, anticipating the scene photos, transcripts, and, most importantly, a medical report issued by Zhangxian highlighting the brain injury but ignoring the nail marks on the opponent's neck. However, the report did not mention any traces of injuries post-sexual activity, which Fang Hao discovered during Chang Yu's full-body CT scan. Fang Hao asked Li Jun, "Didn't you conduct any examinations? Like checking for traces after sexual activity?" According to eyewitnesses, Chang Yu was found without clothes. Therefore, such an examination would be crucial. If there had been sexual activity, there was a high probability of finding male DNA, making it easier to trace. Li Jun explained, "At that time, she was still alive. We immediately rushed her for treatment and performed surgery. After the operation, she went to the ICU, and our staff couldn't enter. Later on, the opportunity to collect evidence was missed, and it became meaningless." Fang Hao, after going through the file, handed it back to Li Jun, saying, "Then we can only pray that Chang Yu wakes up and is willing to come forward as a witness." When Zhofen came in, Fang Hao ended the conversation with Li Jun and escorted him out. She said, Tian, go back to your room and do your homework." Seeing that her grandson obediently complied, she entered the kitchen and asked Fang Hao, "What were the police here for? Did you commit a crime?" Fang Hao thought for a moment and said, "I didn't commit a crime. It's your old classmate, Zhang Lingtian, who might have committed a crime." "Old Zhang? What did he do?" "He's currently under investigation. Take a look for yourself." Fang Hao wiped his hands, took out his phone, and sent 2 photos to Zhou Fen, one of Zhang Lingtian and Chang Yu kissing and another of Chang Yu in her current vegetative state. He explained, "This is still under investigation, so don't tell anyone it came from me. Chang Yu fell from a certain property owned by Zhang Lingtian. She is now at the Provincial People's Hospital, and I'm treating her. Based on Chang Yu being Zhang Lingtian's woman, Zhang Lingtian is a suspect." Zhou Fen, after seeing the 2 photos, remained surprisingly calm. Fang Hao was curious because he expected Zhou Fen to be stimulated and perhaps even have a heart attack. He had prepared for Zhou Fen to be upset by this revelation. However, Zhou Fen was remarkably composed, almost indifferent. She snorted and said, "Old Zhang is just like this, too licentious and irresponsible to young girls. I warned him before to control himself and not cause trouble. Now, he's caused a disability. Let's see how he handles this." "Yeah, let's see how he handles this." Fang Hao felt a sense of sorrow. It turned out that Zhou Fen knew about Zhang Lingtian's past affairs and was unsurprised by them. Perhaps, when Zhou Fen found out her daughter was infatuated with Zhang Lingtian, would she be surprised or even accept it? Shouldn't accept it. After all, when it happens to others, it's just a story, something to laugh about. But when it happens to oneself, that becomes an accident. Even if Zhou Fen remains aloof, it doesn't mean she would accept an old classmate getting involved with her daughter. Moreover, the situation between Zhang Lingtian, Su Rou, and Fang Hao is even more complex. They have been hiding things from Zhou Fen, and the consequences of the scandal being exposed are uncertain and beyond their control. Zhou Fen remarked, "The old routine, finding someone to take the blame, forging alibis, settling with the family privately, and so on, he has plenty of underhanded tricks." Fang Hao asked, "Can he really get away with all that? Has he done these things before? Otherwise, do you think I'm making it up?" "Fang Hao, you're young, handsome, intelligent, and wealthy. Your abilities are outstanding. Don't follow his path. If a man can't even control his own behavior, how much success can he achieve in the future?" Fang Hao questioned, "So, do you think Zhang Lingtian's achievements are not significant? He secured large projects like the City South Park, Jiolong Group, the Tianji Pharmaceutical Series, the downtown Baijia World Trade Center, and numerous other industries. Are these not achievements? What kind of achievements are these? Money is an external possession, it doesn't come with birth, and it doesn't go with death. Besides, these accomplishments are not solely due to him. They can be replaced. Fang Hao, broaden your vision, don't let immediate interests blind you. Zhang Lingtian may seem successful now, but what will he leave behind after 100 years? Just a pile of ashes, maybe even a heap of infamy. So, don't follow his path. If you want to make a mark, achieve something in fields like medicine and mathematics. Your name will be remembered in books, benefiting humanity even after 100 years. It seemed like Zhou Fen was getting into a lecturing mode. She continued, the most precious thing a person has is life. We only have one life. A person should live in such a way that, when reminiscing about the past, they don't regret wasting time or feel ashamed for being unproductive. When facing death, they can say, I have devoted my entire life and all my energy to the most magnificent cause in the world. And this cause is certainly not a woman's belly. Fang Hao quickly interrupted, you're trying to brainwash me. I'm not seeking that fame. I'm just an ordinary villager. I only wish for 3 meals a day, a warm bed for my wife and children, a simple and plain life is all I desire. Oh, don't talk about me, talk about Zhang Lingtian. The woman he's involved with this time is the granddaughter of retired political and legal affairs official Chang Lao, holding a position as deputy director in a certain office of the provincial high court. She's also the niece of the policewoman you just mentioned. Do you think he can end well? Zhou Fen paused for a moment and said, it depends on how Zhang handles it. Oh, Chang's granddaughter has a strict upbringing, this shouldn't be happening. She looked at the photos again and said, at this time, Zhang, it was 5 years ago, right? At that time, his health should have already deteriorated, so why is he still fooling around? Oh, you can tell it's 5 years ago? Fang Hao was a bit surprised. Look at this watch, it was a birthday gift from Su Ro to him. Customized, unique globally. During that period, he flaunted it in front of us. However, the clothes this woman is wearing. Su Ro also has this same style. It seems like this style was popular 5 years ago. Zhou Fen looked at the photos again and fell silent. 5 years ago, Su Ro gave Zhang Lingtian a birthday gift, a globally unique present. Indeed, she loved her old lover. At that time, they were already involved. 5 years ago, you hadn't graduated yet. Damn it, Su Ro, you're such a despicable person. When exactly did you get entangled with Zhang Lingtian, and how corrupted have you become? Fang Hao felt a sudden chill and growing disgust. For 4 years, the woman he genuinely loved and considered a pure partner turned out to be a tarnished commodity, stained by who knows how many affairs. I really was blind. Zhang shouldn't have done this. Zhou Fen, looking at the photos, suddenly raised a question. Do you see anything? What's the issue? Fang Hao asked quickly. No issue. You go and cook. I'll take Tian out to play later, don't let me disturb your research. Zhou Fen turned away, seemingly lost in thought, and went to watch her grandson practice writing. Chapter 329, Only Those Who Have Loved Know. Global customization? And it's the only one? While Zhou Fen took her son out to play, Fang Hao began to study the photos of Zhang Lingtian and Cheng Yu kissing. Zhou Fen's unusual avoidance reaction and her hesitant attitude just now made Fang Hao aware that she had noticed something from the photos but chose not to tell him. It had to be related to Zhang Lingtian's past. What Fang Hao lacked the most now was an understanding of Zhang Lingtian's past. Without knowing what he had been through and how he achieved success, it would be challenging to confront him effectively. Knowing oneself and knowing the enemy leads to 100 victories. He took a screenshot of Zhang Lingtian's watch and sought advice from people on online shopping platforms. The consensus was that this was indeed a limited edition watch worth over $1 million. 5 years ago, did Su Ro already have $1 million? Fang Hao was a bit puzzled. Then he thought, maybe it was money given by Zhang Lingtian or guidance to invest and make money. Considering Su Ro initially studied mathematics and later shifted to finance, economics, and business management, Zhang Lingtian's insight would have been valuable in helping Su Ro accumulate wealth and winning her heart. Young girls with shallow experiences are easily tempted by small favors. Perhaps Su Ro has hidden assets. Fang Hao felt a lump in his throat, not because he wanted Su Ro's money but because he realized that for the woman he wholeheartedly loved for 4 years, he only saw her outer appearance. He never questioned or investigated her past, and he remained completely ignorant. In the end, he wore the green hat for 4 years. His love was so blindly devoted. With these thoughts, he wanted to slap himself. This photo, what's the secret behind it? Fang Hao looked left and right, up and down, but couldn't find anything suspicious. It left him feeling frustrated, like solving a riddle where he knew the question but lacked that small spark to unveil the answer. Just as he was contemplating this, the phone suddenly rang. It was from Rueli. After a brief hesitation, he answered. She invited him to take his son out to play, but he declined. Then she mentioned that Tang Wan had called her, asking her to come for an interview tomorrow. However, the interview location wasn't in a commercial building but in a villa area, leaving her confused and worried. Upon hearing Rueli's call, Fang Hao informed her that it was Tang Wan's home address. Tang Wan had been injured, hospitalized, and was now recovering at home while taking care of her child. He assured Rueli that she could go there with confidence. Later in the evening, Zhou Fun and Fang Hao returned, their faces filled with smiles, indicating they had a great time. Fang Hao took his son for a bath and then returned to put him to sleep. However, the son whispered to Fang Hao, "Daddy, Grandma kept asking who Mom's new husband is, but I didn't tell her." "Why didn't you tell Grandma?" Fang Hao asked. "Mom said not to tell Grandma and Grandpa." "No one should know," the son replied. "If you tell Grandma and Grandpa, and you haven't told Mom, your mom won't know," Fang Hao suggested. "Mom will know. She said by then, she won't want me anymore and won't buy me delicious or fun things. She wants me to become a pitiful child without a mom." What a cunning woman, using threats and bribes on a child. Fang Hao said, "Don't just listen to everything your mom says. You're a little man, and you need to have your own opinions, especially when you grow up. You need to learn to be independent and self-reliant. Mom and Dad won't always be with you. When we're not around, you have to decide what to do and what to say. Maybe you don't understand now, but don't just listen to everything your mom says. Listen to Dad too. Dad, Mom also said to listen to you and do what Mom says." "Oh, so whose words will you listen to?" "I'll listen to both of you." "Flatterer, go to sleep." Fang Hao turned off the main light, leaving a warm yellow bedside lamp for his son to sleep peacefully. Next day, in the morning, when Fang Hao saw Zhou Fen, he exclaimed, "You have dark circles. Did you stay up all night? Are you trying to kill yourself?" "Last night, I recalled some people and events, unexpectedly, I couldn't sleep. It's the first time in so many years. Maybe I'm getting old, starting to overthink things," Zhou Fen replied, sipping water delicately. "Who did you recall? What happened? Not some romantic affairs from your youth, right? Regretting rejecting some young lad, and now you have remorse?" Fang Hao casually remarked. If Zhou Fen, a person of her caliber, was restless, it must be due to an unforgettable impression left by someone. "Just you're clever. You think you can figure everything out. With your intelligence, you should focus on studying mathematics. You've truly wasted it," Zhou Fen said, giving Fang Hao a sidelong glance. She continued, "Yes, indeed, I recalled my youth. At that time, there was someone smarter and more talented than Lao Su who pursued me, but I rejected him." "Was it Zhang Lingtian?" "No." "Oh, someone even more outstanding than Zhang Lingtian from the same era?" Reluctant to admit it, "Huh?" Fang Hao said, "So, what happened afterward? Did you two get together? In that era, do you think it was as open-minded as it is today?" "Well, in your era, even though material resources weren't as abundant as now, and there weren't as many entertainment venues, it was still lacking. This might make emotions between men and women more likely to go beyond boundaries because the more instinctive things are, the less they can be controlled. Just tell me if you had an affair, I won't be surprised. It's just gossip, hee hee." "No gossip. I'm a traditional person. I held firm until I got married and registered with Lao Su before being together. Lao Su was the same. So, I still believe that Lao Su is forgivable." Zhou Fen's face felt a bit warm. How to discuss this with her son-in-law? She said, "The reason I couldn't sleep might be that my way of rejecting someone back then was too straightforward. Perhaps I could have been more tactful. Of course, judging from Lao Su's performance now, it still disappoints me. Maybe I shouldn't have given Lao Su a chance back then. How could I be so hesitant now? Feeling jealous, huh? Zhang Lingtian must have pursued you. Now that you see Zhang Lingtian with the young and beautiful Cheng Yu, you feel uncomfortable." Fang Hao couldn't stimulate Zhou Fen like this. If Zhou Fen got angry, he wouldn't be able to handle the responsibility. He said, "You can't regret your love choices from when you're in your 50s or 60s. It's unfair to criticize your past self with your current perspective. Because, with the mindset and experience you had back then, you would still make the same choices." This statement was also directed at himself. Given another chance to go back 4 years, if he encountered the young and beautiful Su Ro, he would still fall into her love and be unable to extricate himself. The beginning of love is blind. Whether love is worth it or not, you only know after experiencing it. True love, like mythical creatures, may be talked about by many, but only those who see it can appreciate its rarity. Chapter 330, Emergency. Hospital. Li Dong's wife was waiting for Fang Hao in the parking lot. She said, "The pregnant woman from Governor Guo's family has undergone a successful operation in the maternity and child care department. Why didn't you perform the surgery here?" Fang Hao paused and replied, "Governor's house, you've put it that way, and you're still asking. Patients and their families at this level have the right to choose. We doctors are in a cooperative position. Just like your mother-in-law, if you have other options, it wouldn't be me." "Dr. Fang, I didn't mean that." Li Dong's wife hurriedly explained. "It's okay, I'm very open-minded." Fang Hao entered the office, just changed into his white coat, and Huang Yidao also came over. He said, "Director Huang, I was just about to find you. Get another patient ready for me." "Who?" "The patient is at the traditional Chinese medicine hospital, the chairman of Blue Sky Group. The company went bankrupt, and in a fit of anger, he had a cerebral hemorrhage. The conservative treatment at the traditional Chinese medicine hospital will only let the patient wait for death." "Cerebral hemorrhage? Do you have a solution?" "I'll do my best." "All right. I'll go arrange it. However, these 2 surgeries are left to you." Huang Yidao left after putting down 2 surgical plans, not giving Fang Hao a chance to refuse. These 2 surgeries were both challenging. It took Fang Hao 4 hours in total, and he only had time to leave the operating room in the afternoon. Li Dong's wife was still very thoughtful, preparing a lunchbox for Fang Hao. However, in the office, Fatty Rui came in. She had come in the morning and waited until noon. Since Fang Hao hadn't returned, she went to have lunch and then came back. She twisted open a bottle of water for Fang Hao and told him to eat slowly. She said, "Fang Hao, you're working too hard like this." While eating, Fang Hao asked, "How did the interview go?" I might have messed up. She kicked me out." Fatty Rui looked embarrassed. "Oh?" Fang Hao was a bit surprised and asked, "Why? What did Tang Wan ask you, and what did you say?" Fatty Rui approached a bit and whispered, "Fang Hao, first tell me, what is your relationship with Tang Wan?" "She had an accident at the construction site, her life was in danger, and I saved her and the child. That's the doctor-patient relationship." Fang Hao slowed down his eating and said, "Tell me about the interview process." "I followed the address you gave me. I contacted her first and then went over. There was a female bodyguard at the door who checked me thoroughly, even checked Little Bun. After that, she let me in. The first thing she asked was whether we had slept together." "What?" Fang Hao was almost choked. Fatty Rui said, "What kind of interview question is this? I was as dumbfounded as you at the time. But I could tell that she didn't want me, so I said I had slept with you. Then she tore up my resume and had the bodyguard kick me out." "Fang Hao, have you slept with her? What do you think? You might not be interested in her, but she must be interested in you. What a mess. You go home first and take care of little Tiger. If there's a chance, I'll recommend you again." Fang Hao realized that it's not easy to be a good person. He hadn't handled any of the messy situations properly. After having dinner, he didn't chat with Rueli but went to treat Chengyu. This time, he carefully examined the marks on Chengyu's body, refusing to believe that it was just Zheng Laogo pushing her down the stairs. There must be traces left. The injuries on Chengyu's body were very suspicious, not ruling out the possibility of being beaten and abused. However, with so much time having passed, could these marks still serve as evidence? I should go to the scene and check. The likelihood of finding traces is greater if Zheng Laogo was with Chengyu. But as he was leaving work, he suddenly received a call from Su Buiyuan, asking him to rush to Tianyi Hospital. Zhou was there, unconscious and unresponsive. He needed to go see if there was any way to wake her up. If Zhou went to Tianyi Hospital and is still unconscious, did she discover the truth when she met Zhang Lingtian and couldn't bear it, causing her to faint? What had to happen, happened. With a heavy expression, Fang Hao rushed to Tianyi Hospital at the fastest speed. At the hospital entrance, a young woman from the Zhou family was waiting for Fang Hao, and she led him to the ward. Zhou lay on the hospital bed, wearing an oxygen mask, and various monitoring devices were attached. She was currently in a state of unconsciousness. Fang Hao approached to check her pulse and then asked Su Buiyuan on the side, "How did this happen to Mom? Wasn't she fine this morning? Why did this happen suddenly?" I don't know either. At noon, we had lunch together, and she was full of energy, everything was normal. We separated, I went to class, and after the first class, I received a call. Su Buiyuan spoke, and there was a commotion outside. Zhou Xiang, Zhou Su, and others from the Zhou family had arrived. Zhou Xiang glared at Fang Hao and said, "What are you doing? Get out of here. Don't hinder us from transferring her." Fang Hao asked, "Transfer? Where are you transferring her to?" "Don't worry about it. You and Xiao are divorced. What are you doing here? Get lost." Zhou Xiang scolded Fang Hao. "Indeed, I am divorced from Su Rou. What kind of relationship do I have with the Zhou family now? What am I here for?" Fang Hao's brow furrowed, and he was rudely pulled away by a young doctor nearby. "What are you guys doing? Fang Hao is also a doctor. Listen to his opinion." "Fang Hao, how is your mom now?" Su Buiyuan spoke up for Fang Hao. "Don't listen to him. Directly send her to the capital where there are better doctors. I've already arranged it. Old Su, don't delay any longer." Zhou Xiang instructed to directly drive Fang Hao away, then began to transfer Zhou Fen's bed, pushing it to the rooftop to board the helicopter. Su Buiyuan was at a loss too, following along. Standing at the entrance of Tianyi Hospital, Fang Hao smoked a cigarette, watching the helicopter go far away. He fell into contemplation. In the morning, when he parted ways with Zhou Fen, she was still fine. However, unexpectedly, within less than a day, Zhou Fen's life was hanging by a thread. Was this day truly like the saying, a world of difference in the blink of an eye? "Fang Hao, don't overthink it. Auntie will be fine." The young woman from the Zhou family came out, noticing Fang Hao staring at the departing helicopter with a clearly sorrowful expression. She knew that although Fang Hao and Su Rou were divorced, there was still a deep bond between Fang Hao and Zhou Fen. Zhou Fen regarded Fang Hao as both a son and a son-in-law. In reality, Fang Hao was also outstanding, but his rural background made him less appreciated by the Zhou and Su families. Fang Hao nodded and said, "She will be safe and sound." "Oh, why did my mom come here?" "Auntie came to see Zhang Lingtian." "Did she meet him?" "No, because Zhang Lingtian is at the rejuvenation sanatorium. Auntie asked Zhang Lingtian to come here, and then she waited. I had to go back home for a while, so I didn't stay with Auntie the whole time. When I came back, Auntie had already fallen ill and was being treated by the doctors here." "Did Zhang Lingtian come?" "No." "Does Su Rou know?" "Yes, she knows. She asked Uncle Su to call you to come and treat Auntie. Su Rou also said that you have a unique medical skill, and only you can save Auntie. But the uncles and aunts don't believe in you." So, Zhou Fen didn't faint because she discovered the affair between Zhang Lingtian and Su Rou. It was a natural illness. "Did she not rest well last night?" Fang Hao's brow furrowed in deep thought. He had only performed a preliminary pulse check earlier and hadn't seen Zhou Fen's examination report, so he couldn't be sure of the exact cause. "Fang Hao, she probably has something to discuss with you. I'll go back first. If you need anything, you can call me." The young woman from the Zhou family left first. Fang Hao then turned to see Zhang Yue Huo walking towards him, a mature and beautiful woman. Zhang Yue Huo coldly said, "Fang Hao, that night you broke into our house, beat Ling Tian, and you haven't apologized to us. You don't think you can just gloss over it as if nothing happened, do you?" Fang Hao looked at Zhang Yue Huo, then glanced at Tianyi Hospital, and coldly replied, "Apologize? Apologize to your old mother."